With that, thank you, Marcia. If you want to say anything, if you want to hopefully put yourself on mute for now, and if you want to say anything a little bit later, hope you're okay. Yeah, knowing that this is being recorded. So if anybody wanted to watch this a little bit later, they will be able to do so. And I think we intend to send you a copy of this recording a little bit later in case there's anything you want to watch back. Welcome. My name's Mark, and I'm the founder of SEA 2.0. It's my pleasure to welcome you today, yeah, to talk a little bit about Creativity Unlocked, our new online portfolio school. Please stick around to the end. I'm going to drone on maybe for 40 minutes or so, and to thank you for listening to me. I'm going to offer you three great gifts at the end of this session, worth a lot. I think they're worth a lot. I hope you'd agree. And so stick around, and I'll tell you what they are in about half an hour, 40 minutes time, as I whisk through this deck and try and answer all your questions. So very quickly, some USPs about SCA. And I'm being a little bit cheeky by putting these USPs jargon right at the start because USPs is obviously just a bit of advertising jargon, and it stands for unique selling proposition. So I wanted to introduce some unique selling propositions about the SCA right at the start. So why would you want to come to the school and what we're all about? And then I'll talk about the online course after that. So we are the world's most awarded ad school in the UK and probably the world. And I measured that by D&AD Student Awards 1 in the advertising category. And I measured that by portfolios represented at Cream worldwide. We could also measure that by placements gained, by jobs gained, and by promotions gained. We index and we over-index in all those ways. And because of that, we're the only ad school, to the best of my knowledge, worldwide, that promises its students placements, paid placements at the end of the course. We've got such a reputation for the way that we teach in London that we're able to guarantee placements to our London students and also attract a number of really big agencies who have sponsored us for up to 15 years now. We've been going for 15 years in this incarnation. Some of those sponsors are mentioned on this page, including TBWA and Ogilvy and those others that you can read here. And we also have some brands as partners as well. So, for example, Specsavers sponsor the school, and in return, I help train them at their agency in Guernsey. So we're trusted by agencies and brands to develop, to nurture the very best talent on the planet. Um, and another USP about the school is that whilst we learn, we work on live briefs constantly throughout the course, constantly getting feedback on real work, trying to find new ways of working on work. So what can we bring fresh to work that's out there? So those are some USPs, and I'll talk more about how those USPs translate to the online course in just a bit. But first, I want to quickly introduce you to some of our faculty. There are 12 people that I'll quickly introduce you to who will be with you when you join us on the online portfolio school. Caroline, Rob, myself, and Richard, you'll meet here. You're welcome to read all their bios on our website. So I won't unless you ask me specific questions, dive too much into each of them. But hopefully, what you're seeing here is diversity in skill set, diversity in career history, and also importantly, diversity in age and gender. You'll see in our mentors as well. I think that's really key. And also leaders. So these are, I mean, for example, Lou, she is the chair of the Typo Circle. So she's not only a world-class typographer, but she represents that craft as the chair of the Typographic Circle. Or Mike Nicholson is a long in the tooth ECD. You know, he's been an ECD for so long now. And Alan Bowles is just been making classic ads since I want to say the late 80s, early 90s. So a real blend of incredible experience, but also people from outside of advertising. On the right is Deanna Roger. She's a world-class poet. Um, you might have seen her work for the Williams sisters on BBC when I think maybe about a year or so ago. You'll know her work, and she's here to help you find your voice. So An incredible array of world-class faculty who have been thinking about how they've been teaching in London, and what we can do to bring a sizzling experience online. So why are we doing this and why now? Well, we tried hybrid in lockdown. So 2020 forced us into hybrid teaching. We continued that for a couple of years afterwards, inviting people to join us in London or pay sort of half the price and study online. We hated it. We felt even at half price, it was bad quality and bad value of service. Um, I felt it was an inferior product. I felt there was an us and them. I felt that for the course, we were giving all of our attention to our London students, and our online students on that course where it was hybrid were missing out. So we cancelled it. We weren't happy putting people on a product that wasn't to our levels because we are world class in everything that we want to do. So we then launched a VR course, a course where you could study with us in the metaverse. And we're having a lot of fun with that. It's an incredibly fun experience for us as teachers and for our learners. And the results are great. But what we're realizing is it's a heck of a commitment. It's half a day a week for 2 years. And people just don't have the time for that. So it's niche and it's possibly not for everybody. If it's for you and if you work at the moment, let us know because we can get this funded using what's called apprenticeship levy. So it is free as a course, our VR course. If you are in employment, the next cohort for that will start in September. But it's a heck of a commitment. It's half a day a week, every week for 2 years. And we wanted to design a portfolio school that mirrored the best of London, with the opportunity to do what the metaverse does, which is take us anywhere. We can speak to people anywhere on the planet, and we wanted to try and do that. But also, we wanted to bring our costs down even further. The online course when we had it as a hybrid was sort of half the price of London. And we wanted to bring it down significantly further than that so that we could make this course open for a much wider community. People who really wouldn't be able to find, 8, 9 thousand pounds to go on a course. We wanted a course where you could pay a couple of £100 a month, and make it really accessible that way. And we also wanted a course where, if you needed to work part or even full time, this would fit around you. If you were a parenting or caring for somebody, we wanted a course that would fit around you. So that's what we built. And so it's a 6 month course. It's very, very structured. Um, I'll take you through some of that structure in just a minute. So it's a 6 month course, but then you have a lifetime relationship with us afterwards. You become part of the network. You'll see, and a little bit later, I might talk about it in this deck, and then I can talk more in the Q&A. You become part of the alumni community, speaking to our and with our London school alumni and with our sponsor network. So it's not just a case of doing the course and doing it online somewhere, but you become part of the platform where you can then interact with our current students, our alumni, and our sponsor network and become part of that. Every week, we'll drop you a video masterclass into your library. And your library lives as a network app, or you can just look at it on a web page. So every week, there's a new masterclass, and that happens every week for 6 months. You can watch it whenever you want to watch it. You can watch it at normal speed, at 1.5 speed. You can watch it at what, 5 times in a row. You can pause a little bit, think about it, watch a bit more, go on deep dives, do whatever you want to do. This is your course. And we won't test you on that. It's your responsibility. You watch those classes how and when you want to watch them. Every month, we'll have a half-day workshop where we'll meet online together. So you'll be part of a cohort that start on your day, and you'll meet up once a month, and you'll learn how to support each other with tools and frameworks that we'll be sharing with you. But also you'll be building a close community, hopefully, of people that you can turn to when you need to turn to somebody. So these are our half-day workshops, and again, I can talk more about that in Q&A if you want me to. And you'll also be given passes to book three 45-minute calls each month with any of the faculty that I introduced on those earlier slides to discuss anything from Strat to type to copy to AI prompting to mindfulness to loads of other subjects that my faculty are there to support you on. So every month you get three 45-minute calls, and you can book that any time that's convenient for you, whatever time zone you're on. I see in this call, I think, look, when I checked at the beginning of this call, we were all on the London time zone. But if you are in New York and it's a 5 hour difference, our staff will be here to make sure that we have a time that fits with you. You know, your morning is our afternoon, and we'll find a way that fits. So I'll very quickly take you through the 6 months in terms of our structure and focus. We we kick off with month one with Creative Foundations. So we're looking at how to spot the opportunity, how to write our own briefs, how to have ideas, how to find the single-minded proposition. And in month two, we start to think more about targeting those ideas towards audiences, how to write personas and empathy map them using research tools, but we're also starting to introduce some communications tools, typography, and so forth. In month three, we start building campaigns. So our focus moves from that idea generation to now how do we bring things together and make sure that we are expressing the right idea in the right place to the right person at the right time. How do we make our thoughts become 360 in the right way for our portfolios? And in month four, we start polishing those ideas. We start learning advanced craft techniques, iteration tools. We elevate our work ready for our portfolios. In month five, we focus on what our portfolios ought to look like, the structure, how to present them, making sure that your book represents you. And I'll show you a little bit, perhaps, how books ought to look and how they each ought to look a bit different. Forgive me, that's my front door. And we'll clear that. Month six, we get you ready for your showcase. And I'll talk a little bit more perhaps in this deck about what we mean by showcases, but we want you to learn how to sell your ideas and how to sell yourself. So that's what six is going to be about. So so now we'll talk a little bit about how we deliver SCA Portfolio School online. We work on live briefs through the 6 months. Now, those briefs come from our sponsors, but I totally recognize that some people on this course will come from our sponsor agencies. So just to be very clear to anybody watching this webinar, there are two strands of people that will be joining us in the workshops. Those of you that work for our sponsors and those of you that don't. Maybe you're in the industry, maybe you're not. If you work for one of our sponsors, you don't have to work on the briefs that we put forward from our other sponsors. Obviously, there might be a conflict, in which so you're invited to work on a pool of brilliant briefs that our faculty of friends have written, or you can work on your own briefs from your own agency. But if you're from outside the business and you're looking for live briefs to work on, our sponsors will supply briefs for you to work on and give you the opportunity to get in front of them as well. Perhaps get some really useful feedback, make some really useful connections. So you'll definitely also get feedback from our faculty and other friends in our network that we'll introduce you to throughout the 6 months. And that feedback will help you think and grow and develop your book ready for months 5 and 6. We'll also invite you to join an online portfolio day to meet potential employers and creative partners. Now, these will be multi-cohort, so it won't just be those of you that are joining this next cohort. There might be 2 or 3 cohorts together and some London students at those events for networking so that you can meet potential partners. And we'll talk more about that on the very first day of the course. Again, this is optional. If you work for one of our sponsors, clearly there's no need for you to come to a portfolio day to find potential employers. So it's an optional that we provide you on this course. Getting towards the end, you'll be pleased to hear, so I'll talk very quickly about taking the next steps and then the great free gifts that are yours, awaiting you. No commitment for those gifts, just turning up. And then I'll answer some of the questions that Marcia has put into chat, that she has been sent. And any other questions that you have, just stick them into chat, or take your microphone off. I will answer all your questions, so ignore that bit. I'll come to those in the chat in just a little bit. The next steps, once you feel it's right for you, and I hope you do, is book your place on the next cohort. Starting soon. Can't wait to see you. And as you'll see, we've tried to find ways to make sure that this is as financially comfortable for widening participation as possible, including making really low interest finance available. I believe it's about £230 a month for a year to join this course if you wanted to take it out on finance. So hopefully you'll see those terms are really, really good, and we've made this really available. But also, if you're putting this on your company, let us know, and we've hopefully made it really easy for you that way as well. The moment you sign up, you will get access not just to that weekly class schedule and those workshops and our community, but also a library of dozens more classes. So for example, in the library, we have a whole section on how to create case study videos. Those aren't delivered in your weekly video drop, but it's something you're going to want to learn. So we will give you access to a wider library of masterclasses, and you can watch those whenever you want to watch them during the 6 months or sometime over the next 6 years. And so my final slide, before I try to answer your questions, are the 3 gifts that I'd like to offer you for coming along today. We'll send you emails to summarize these later on this week or early next week. But the first is to get access to one of our masterclasses for free, and an industry legend master talk for free, just for turning up to this webinar. So to say thank you for listening to me drone on, we're going to invite you to get one of those classes that I've spoken about that we drop each week. We'll give you an early view of one of those. No commitment. You don't need to pay anything. You'll be able to watch one of those classes so that you can take a judge of whether they're interesting and whether they're right for you and of the quality. We will also give you access to one of our old recorded classes of an industry legend, maybe 2. We're trying to work out from our library, again, just for turning up. So you'll be able to get a sense of what that looks like. That's your first free gift. And I hope you're happy with that. And I hope you take advantage of that. That's just to say thank you for taking time out to spend some time with us and learn about us. Also, very transactionally, we want to offer you 500 discount to come on this next course. There's a catch for that. I'm going to ask you for a testimonial at the end. So we are hungry for testimonials. I won't force you what to say, and we believe we're going to do a great job. But just know that I'm hungry for testimonials. So I'm playing all the marketing tricks that I'm being taught. Offer you a bit of discount, ask for a testimonial at the end. And I hope you're cool with that. So and then the next thing is create some urgency. The first 3 people to book a place, I should just, by the way, say that £500 discount, that's for those of you that aren't joining from one of our sponsor agencies. Our sponsor agencies have already been offered their discount, and I hope you're very happy with your discounts, and I hope you book your places. This £500 discount is for people that are not with our sponsor agencies, and I hope you understand that, and I hope you're good with that. The same when it comes to the coaching sessions. Our sponsors have already been offered coaching sessions with me for their people. So I do coaching, and my coaching sessions, believe it or not, are worth thousands. And you get 6 free coaching sessions, one-on-one sessions with me on top of those 3 45-minute calls with the mentors each month, which are either worth thousands of pounds if you feel they are and if you use them well, or they're worthless if not. So you'll decide on that. So the first 3 people to book a place on the webinar will get 6 free sessions with me as well, if they want them. Finally, before I stop screen sharing and I do my best to answer your questions, here's my email address. You're very, very welcome to email me anytime. You can also book a call with me anytime. It's easy to do that on our website. So I'm really grateful that you're here now. But do keep on talking to me and emailing me, and I'll do my very best to answer and speak to you. Oh, Freddie wants to come in. Let's let Freddie in. So now I'm going to do my best to answer your questions. I can see some in the chat, and I will read through those. There's a lot on there, Marcia. Do you have an opportunity for a dedicated mentor one-on-one sessions course? Yes, I hope I've covered that. You get 3 one-on-one sessions each month with our mentors, and also a coaching session with me if you're one of the first 3. I'm currently client side for a brewer FMCG group, so I'd appreciate the course leader considering the different experience base if they can. Oh, you're perfect for this. If you're client side and you want to be creative, you're following good company. A number of our really good students have either been in client services in the past and just frustrated that they were in the wrong part of the agency. Some real success stories. Email me and I'll send you some of their books, and I'm going to screen share some books in just a sec. But yeah, I can think specifically of some ex-client service people and client-side people that have been on the courses. Suitability for potential career switches. Again, I just feel that the future of work is to be creative, particularly with the rise of AI. The more you are able to look for problems, spot opportunities, think creatively, I think more you thrive in a world that's becoming tools, technologies are taking charge of the processes. So we need to become more and more human. This means using creativity and empathy. And so, yeah, if you're thinking about switching your career at this stage or whatever stage, I think I would be swimming towards waters that encourage creativity and empathy, and away from waters that encourage rigidity and process and this sort of thing. Any examples of portfolios created from previous cohorts, and how are these presented to potential employers? Okay. I'll show you very quickly which screen 1. Um, I'll show you very quickly uh, uh, this is a portfolio from I guess a student who's now at Ogilvy, who came in to do PR maybe, but he went into, well, all sorts really. And he's presenting his book, as all these 3 books are in this share in Google Slides. So I just want to show you how internally as a school we share our portfolios with each other initially in Google Slides, but also how we're showing how you can bring some personality and character even to something as dry as Google Slides. So what you'll see here is Tommy is winking a little. This is Tommy. He's winking and he's got his uniform on and he's showing a little bit of his character. But we could click on one of the pieces of work in his deck, and it will take us to his proposition, his thought. Lucozade fuels your sleep, and he's expressing that as a thought before he takes us through to his campaign, which he's showing with posters. And then when I talk about how we try to make our ideas 360 and integrated, you can see how he's taking that idea into merch, rebranding, experiences, and so on. And then you can see how he would be doing that campaign after campaign. But similarly, you can see how a different team would be able to express their character and their voice in a very different way. So Indy and Tad, who are smashing it at Wonderhood, and in fact, in the Campaign Big Awards late last year, they were announced the emerging team of the year. They're the most impressive up and coming team in the whole industry. They were announced last year. SCA had 3 teams that were in the finalists for emerging team of the year. There were only 3 teams that were in the shortlist, so we knew we were going to win. And we're really pleased that Indy and Tad won, and they're really good representatives of the school. In here, you can see that they're presenting a case study film.
The Smarty Pants at Samsung and Apple. The Smarty Pants
We'll show you how to do that. but they're also showing on the course, but they're also showing their idea in, let's say, more traditional ways in their book. And we can see project after project. So these are some of the ways in which we show you how to present your work. We'll also be showing you how to build portfolio websites with character as well. I hope that will break us. More questions? Any examples? What does SCA uniquely offer their students on this course versus other creative marketing courses? I hope I answered that earlier as well. The credibility that we have as the world leading portfolio school, the incredible faculty, the 3 45-minute chats, the access to our community, the live briefs, the feedback, the portfolio days. Could you share some examples of the types of projects or work that would help build? I hope I've just done that. There's loads more on our website. So hunt around the website. There's loads of portfolios on there. There's also loads of case study videos on there. So yeah, hunt around the website. It's an absolute treasure trove. What are the most important elements to a portfolio that stand out to a potential employer? Is there a specific format or style? So I think the most important element is show that you are able to have big, fresh ideas for products, brands, and services where it's not so easy to have a big idea. What I mean by that is sometimes people come with they're inventing this sexy new product that's got amazing whiz bang features, or they really want to do charity. And both of those are relatively easy to communicate. Oh, it's really exciting, or it's really emotive. It's new, or it's charity. I'm really impressed when you can sell butter or cornflakes or pensions or banks or low-cost airlines, commodity products. So hopefully what you'll see in our portfolios are lots and lots of commoditized products with a different spin on things. So how do you find a new way of expressing a dying category? What would you do if you're the challenger brand? These are the things that I think we want to see in a portfolio, along with your character and your point of view. Is there a style that works best? I think the format that we just showed you in Google Slides is really neat because it's really shareable. And obviously, having a web page or a page that could be accessed on a mobile is super important as well. And we'll be showing you techniques on both of those, particularly in months 4, 5, and 6 of the course. What design and art experience do you need? You don't need any, but it'll be useful before month 2 for you to know the basics of Photoshop, InDesign, Premiere. That's it. So Photoshop, InDesign, and Premiere, and even Premiere is not vital unless you want to enter a case study video into the competition, which we will encourage you to do, but it's not essential on this course. You can enter PDFs into the competitions, but we will be encouraging you on the course to enter a case study film if you have the time and the inclination. Here to support team members potentially enrolling. I'm sorry, I don't understand that. Have been in the industry for 10 years and enjoying my learning and improving my skills. Great. You're the sort of people we like, people that want to learn and unlearn and relearn. I'm curious to bridge the gap from client to agency side. Great, we spoke about that just a moment ago. I've evolved into a key internal creative, cool, but without the wider remit to stretch beyond internal needs. And I may consider agency side as a future step. Yeah, possibly, or even a portfolio career where you maybe work for 2 or 3 different clients. I see that also in the future where people will increasingly have portfolio careers. Because I haven't done anything creative in a long time, I need the inspiration. Great, why not? Creatively suppressed career switcher, serial generalist since graduating 5 years ago with a degree in politics. Welcome. Look at the diversity of you all. I love that. I want to have a more creative job, and this course might offer expertise. I agree. I currently work for advertising space at MNC Saatchi Sport. Oh, we've got people there. And the course was recommended by my managing director. My long-term goal is to become an art director. Great, but also want to get into freelance video editing. Again, we've got that in the library, a whole bunch. And Rob McGilvray is, I mean, he literally teaches video at other universities. We're really lucky to have him. He's produced amazing music videos and commercials and award-winning TV series. So yeah, hopefully you'll find him engaging. And when I talk about my friends, I said you're going to get feedback from faculty and friends. You might meet, for example, Mark Denton pops into the school from time to time, a great director that would be really interesting, perhaps for you to get to meet there if you're looking to become into video editing and filming. Uh, Working B2B business development in biotech. Wow, the diversity of you lot. And I realized I had the most fun during launches and I want to steer myself towards creative jobs. Quite right. We have more fun than anybody else, those of us that look out having ideas. So come and have fun with us. I'm on creative placement at Havas. Beautiful. Havas are a long-term support of the school. I'm sure you know that. We've got loads of great alumni in the building. I'm sure you know that. Trying to take advantage of my opportunities where I can learn more about advertising. Perfect. Writer here, looking to upskill. Wonderful. Hopefully, Freddie, I've showed you examples of our portfolios. There's loads more on our website. Um, um, when's the next cohort start after this one? May. And then there's loads more dates on the site. So yeah, hopefully you'll find a date that works for you and you'll come and join us. What percentage of our placements leads to jobs is a great question. We encourage our London students not to take their first placement. So what we try and give our London students are 3 2-month placements. We say to them that they're probably going to screw things up on their first placement. So they should probably go somewhere they don't really want to get hired on their first placement. And they should aim to go to the agency they most want to get hired at for their third placement. The industry, I think the last time I saw a report, the average person that didn't go to a portfolio, or the average person that was trying to get into the industry, that was doing placements, that didn't go to the SCA, was reported at taking just over 2 years of placements to get a job, and we were tracking at just under 1 year. Our placements, as are most placements in London now, are paid a London living wage. So we won't ever send any of our students to any agency that doesn't pay a London living wage. Can this course, I hope that answered your question, young one. Can this course work for ideation-led copywriting? Definitely. Without design skills, definitely. You will get the opportunity to find people that are more art leaning in your cohort. And if you want to, you can collaborate with them or not. You can do it totally on your own. I will also show you how to use AI prompting to help you bring some of your ideas to presentable life. They're never going to be as good as, using a real creative craft person. But, if you're just worried about the art side because you've got a great way with words, use your words to AI prompt to get machines to bring your thoughts to life, and we'll show you that. Um, how many students get jobs after the course, and are they always teams? They're definitely not always teams. Some agencies prefer singles, and I'm making broad generalizations here, but traditional agencies in the UK and the Americas tend to hire teams. Um, Non-traditional agencies, so I'm talking social, for example, or earned, I'm generalizing, tend to hire singles. Massive generalization, but you can almost break the industry down into a bucket that will generally hire teams and a bucket that will generally hire singles. Um, Most of our students at the SCA London School leave in teams, and they find it easier to get jobs. But there are singles that will find it easy as well. So I wouldn't worry too much whether you're going to be in a team or a single. You do what's right for you. In London School, our employment rate is incredibly high. Of those that want to get a job, some would prefer not to get a job. They start their own business or they freelance. So we have helped students start incredibly successful businesses that have sort of spun out of the school. But yeah, we have an incredibly high employment and promotion rate as well. How quickly can the government funding be secured, and what would my employer have to do? Nick, if that's for the apprenticeship program, the next course starts in September. And if you were to email me about that, I'll introduce you to the team that can get you going for that. Um, there's just a bit of paperwork to do. It takes about 4 or 5 weeks of backwards and forwards. So a lot of that would be on you to find uh, things like your old exam um, data. We need to find your school records and stuff like that. But um, a team would work on that with you, and it would take about 4 or 5 weeks or so, I would suggest. And that will be starting in mid-late September, that next cohort. Um, with that, there is an interview process where we need to speak to your employer to make sure that you are getting the time off work half a day each week to do the study. Because it's tax funded, government funded, the school and our apprenticeships partners all have a responsibility to make sure that there's safeguarding essentially on you and the funding to make sure that you've got the significant time and space required to do that course, because it is half a day a week every week for 2 years, and with a couple of holidays obviously, but so we all have to make sure that we're all happy that you're being supported on that course. Hopefully that answers that question, Nick. How do you deal with regional placement beyond London? Well, some of our agencies are deliberately regional. So one of our partners, for example, is Mission Group, and they own agencies including Crow, who have offices including Leicester and Edinburgh. And they also own Bray Leno, who have offices including in Devon. Um, um, and then we have partner in Havas, who have offices in Manchester as well. So we have, or Specsavers, who are in Guernsey and Southampton, for example. So we have partners who, although we are heavily concentrated in London, um, not many, some of them have offices outside of London as well. And then also, we have a really good global network now. So we have quite a big mafia in Australia, for example, quite a big alumni group, that maybe about 15 alumni now that are in Australia, some in quite senior leadership roles. And so when students want to be introduced to agencies worldwide, we usually know places where we can introduce people now. I hope that answers that question for you. You on the screen as well, Nick. That's you. That's great. Thank you. Um, well, look, it's 20 to 6. I've been talking non-stop for 40 minutes. Um, and I'm happy to keep on going for as long as you want me to. So if there's any other questions that you've got, um, throw them into chat or take your microphone off, and I'll do my best to answer them for you. Um, but otherwise, I just I really hope that you'll come and join us on this adventure, because this, I just don't think there's a better job than being paid to have ideas, and be able to tell your friends and family about your idea when you see it out in the world, or have an idea that is gonna make people feel differently in some way, or have an idea that's going to allow you to work with amazing craft people because you love working with talented photographers or typographers or film directors. Um, I just think it's the best job in the world. And I'm so grateful that I'm not a lawyer or an architect or a banker or anything that has to work indoors every day wearing a suit. I'm so grateful that I'm enjoying, and my friends and those around me are enjoying a career where one day we're trying to work out how to sell mops. The next day we're trying to understand why people like a certain type of bread. And the next day we're trying to work out how to get people to stop smoking. And the next day we're trying to get people to learn how to start smoking. I really love that unpredictability. Um, I joke a little bit about start smoking. You can choose to some extent the briefs that you want to work on, and we don't get to work on tobacco briefs in the UK anymore. But there's a lot of money if you want to work on those tobacco briefs outside of the UK. Let me tell you that. Um, anyway, I digress. If you have any questions at all, I'm going to stick my email address into this chat here. Um, and
Just a
hi, Nick.
simple, yeah, super quick, practical question. Cohort starting every month except some months, or just thinking of I might have to transition. I might have to start later than the next few months, if you know what I mean. yeah, is there points at which it doesn't, does it run do you start new ones every month, or is there gaps where you don't have it, like summer holidays or whatever?
Yeah, we're working all this out as the God's honest truth
Yeah,
is it's the sort of course where we don't want to put we don't want too many people in a cohort because we
yeah,
want quality to be really good. We don't want there to be too many cohorts because we don't want to bring new faces to teach unless we know that we know the quality in London. So we want people that we know are delivering in London, delivering online. So um,
yeah, yeah,
we're gonna if this really takes off, we recognize that we are going to need to add dates. But for
yeah.
now, the dates that we put in the on the website.
I can
Um,
only see one. That's why I asked.
oh, is that
Uh,
right? So
yeah,
one
yeah.
sec.
I could see April 20, but I might have missed something. But I just wondered what
So sorry. Give
there
me.
may be a simpler web page that I'm missing. But
Yeah. Let me just go to. If I go to the website. Um, so if you go, I'm just going to screen share this so you can see what I'm seeing. Uh,
I'm probably looking at the individual course. But
that's okay. So I'm going to go to the online portfolio. And now I'm going to scroll down to see available cohorts. And we can see we got
awesome. Okay.
April, and then we got May, um,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
yeah, September.
Does it September? Yeah, that's the date I'm looking for. September's probably the one for me. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Oops. Stop share, come back to you. Okay. Yeah, September. If it's September for you, then that's perfect. Oops.
Yeah.
I think I'll also be September as well.
Oh, great. Who's I can't see. Oh, that's Eleanor. Hello,
That's
Eleanor.
me. Hello.
Right. Well, look, Nick and Eleanor, you may well be on the same cohort together in September.
Yeah. Hopefully see you there. Okay. Would you
Great.
honour that £500 off if we were booking for a future date, Mark?
Keep an eye out for what other offers there might be. It
Yeah.
might be cash, it might be you might find other things. So
Yeah. Cool.
I don't want to make any promises.
Whilst it's being recorded, I thought I'd try.
It's very good. But I'm sure you're going to find things that we keep on throwing out there that
Yeah.
are designed to help make more people want to join this course.
Yeah.
That's definitely what we want to do. Yeah. Thanks, Nick. Thanks, Leonard. Does anybody have any other questions or anything else they'd like to share before we all go off and enjoy the sun? It's just such nice weather as I'm recording this. I'm going to go for a walk in the park is what I'm going to go and do.
Me again, I just want, I guess my geographic location is pretty locked to Cornwall. Like Braille, I know you're right, is probably, albeit not very commutable on a daily basis. Um, but I guess there is some, yeah, like you said, I could go into portfolio work, working for, a bit more fractionally, I suppose. So there's not, yeah, would you say there's not no hope? There's a value in doing this course for me, without having that mobility to cities, would you say?
Yes, I think that then the important thing becomes using networks like ours to meet lots of agencies
Yeah, yeah,
and getting yourself out there, not just relying on our networks, but then using our
jumping
network.
off from there. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So we will introduce you to lots of networks, obviously lots of agencies and lots of alumni, and then working out which of their networks are because mostly most jobs aren't advertised is the
yeah,
first truth. They come from loose ties.
yeah. I've got a few
So
agencies who are happy for me to kind of almost like briefly intern, to sort of build a bit of a network with them. But I think this course would give me a much broader network from what I can tell. So yeah,
yeah, I really think that's right. I mean, I often when I go out and sort of talk to younger people, in secondary schools and colleges on careers advice, what I like to say is that three things will define our success in life. Um, in whatever we do, I think there are three things that will define how successful we are. Um, one is our character. So I think people want to work with people, and I know sometimes dicks get to the top, but rarely, and they don't last for long. So generally, apologies for anybody that did that one. Generally, people by people. So be a good person. So that's the first thing to find of success. The second thing is prove you can do the job you're asking to do. So in our gig as creatives, obviously that's a portfolio, which is why we're a portfolio school. You
yeah,
generally don't get this job by showing people your Bachelor of Arts or your Master's certificate, as you know. So prove you can do the job. If you're going to be fly a commercial jet, obviously you need to prove you can do the job by you having you pass the test. But in this job, it's your portfolio. And then the third is the quality of your network, like what you know about who you know. So it's not just what you know, it's not just who you know, but it's what you know about who you know. Uh, and um, um, and so what we really wanted to engineer both into we have it in London School, and as I'm going back to what I was saying right at the beginning of or fairly close to my beginning of my talk, why I didn't like hybrid school was I felt there was an us and a them, and those that were at hybrid weren't plugging into all the networking opportunity in London. And so in London, in this online school, it's really important to me that you will have a chance to hang with the faculty, to be on a platform on equal terms with all of our alumni and all of our sponsors. And so that's baked into this design.
Great, thank you.
It's a pleasure, Nick. I'll say it one more time because I know people are hungry to leave, I'm sure, and get some sun. Does anybody have any questions that whilst you got me, or anything they'd like to ask each other even before we all say goodbye? No. In that case, I just want to bring this to a close then by saying thank you so much for spending 50 minutes with us today, finding out more about the School of Communication Arts and our online portfolio school. You will be getting an email from Marcia offering you the incentive to come and join one of our intakes very soon. If you can only join us in September, we'll wait for you. We're looking forward to meeting you then. But if you're joining us in April, I can't wait to see you in our classroom online in April. Thank you so much. See you very soon. Bye.